I'm going to take you to the most amazing place. There is actually four main areas that I want to show you today. So hopefully I'm going to be able to spin the camera around, and if not, I'll just have to do it the other way, but see if I can spin you around. It's totally amazing, guys. Wait till you see what I've come to show you today. There we are, going to begin today. I've got a range of old farming equipment, which is totally awesome. It's all been restored, and basically this is an old Worthington's dray, which would have been used, actually I'm going to turn you that way, I do apologise, would have been used to carry beer in the olden times, totally restored in lovely condition. And this is part of what I'm going to show you today. At the back is a vintage elevator, totally restored. That was a wreck when it came here. This is my friend's equipment, and he's an enthusiast in all this old gear, this stuff that I'm going to show you. There is I think it's called a spring tine, I may be wrong, but it's what they use in the fields. There's the old cast iron seat there the farmer would have sat on. Let's just go around and show you better. It's a pretty cool place actually. There's the old seats, they're very collectible now apparently. And that's an amazing machine, that one there. When it works, it all goes backwards and forwards and takes like hay up and drops it onto the wagon where the farmers would shovel it, use a fork to get it into a pile, which is pretty cool. There's a wedding carriage, again lovely and restored. Really quite like this as well. This is actually one that they do use occasionally in weddings as well. Not sure of the age of that one, but that's a nice thing too. That's pretty cool. Maybe somebody in the comments may know what this is. I don't, unfortunately. But again, totally restored. All opens up. And I think, again, it drops bales. I think it's a bale loader. It drops bales onto a wagon. There's a nice old vintage tractor, a Fordson. That's pre-war. An old Fordson tractor, pre-war. And this is the kind of thing that the land girls would have driven. Actually during the war effort, because all the men had gone to war, obviously, all the soldiers. And the ladies were then trained to do the farm work. Here's another one, an awesome vintage tractor. I've actually driven this one in the past. Amazing, love it. Right, I'm going to take you around, guys, and inside is actually an amazing collection of old stuff that's totally awesome. And be interesting for anybody who does metal detecting as well, because you'll see lots of bits and pieces on the equipment inside which you dig up in the fields. So there's a nice, I think that's called it's a Rotavator, and again it would have been pulled by Shire horses, made by Ransoms, probably dated to about the 1920s period. They're the kind of things you might see in a hedgerow. Me and Simon did a super video a while back down in Dorset. We showed you loads of old vintage equipment like this that was just rotting away in the woods. It had been abandoned. Loads of it actually, so you'll have to chase that video up. And there's another view of that. It's where they would drop the seeds. They'd load all the seeds in here. The top lifts up. There we go. Seeds go in, and then they come down these tubes and they go into the ground, and those disc harrows turn the soil to make a nice smooth groove. There's another old piece of equipment. Now here, guys, I'm going to take you inside. This is totally awesome. Hopefully you'll adjust to the light as we go in. Just give you a view of that. This is inside. There's loads and loads and loads of old vintage equipment. This is a brewery dray. William Hancock and Company Limited from Cardiff. And there certainly isn't many of these around now, I can tell you. So absolutely awesome that these things have been preserved for future generations to admire and enjoy. So I'll just take you through. There's a few old pub signs which have been preserved and saved. I remember the Tetley's one very well. That used to be on our local pub. These signs here are actually off the ends of the drays. When you had the old carts or the wagons going along, they were advertising for the brewery drays. So I'll just take you through here. There's another nice old machine. This is a super wagon here. This would have been used for carrying crates of beer, actually, in bottles. You know, the old wooden crates would have gone in there. You'd have had the Shire horses driving through the towns years ago, and they would deliver them off to the local pubs or the local shops, I dare say. There's another one there. That's absolutely superb. Some nice old pictures up there as well with old tradesmen on there. I think they're wheel makers. I'm going to take you through shortly and show you some old horse equipment as well, which is absolutely superb because, as I say earlier, you guys that go metal detecting, you will recognise lots of bits and pieces off the equipment that you dig up. Then you'll say, ah, that's where it fits. Hello, mate. No, not talking to me today. There's another nice old wagon. This is cool over here as well. There's a sign up there, Fox and Goose. And this here is absolutely brilliant. This is First World War. So can you imagine that being pulled by horses in the First World War? That would have actually been for transporting water. It's a water carrier. And that's been totally restored by my friend. Super old wagon here. This is beautiful. The workmanship that went into making these, and so many rotted out in the fields and in the barns after the war when they fell out of use, you see, which is a great shame. But now some have been preserved. I'll take you into this. This is called the tack room, and there's another small part that I may show you later. Now guys, if you're into metal detecting and you look closely, you will see lots of small fitments. Now you often find these in the fields. Me and Simon have often found these small brass plates here, and then you may find the buckles, of course. Lots of buckles. We always find buckles in the fields. Now you're actually seeing the equipment that the buckles were on. Decorative horse brasses. Now this is equipment that would go on a Shire horse, you see. Again, I found one of these, just half of it, and I now know what it was. It's fairly interesting there to see that. I'll just take you through now. There we go. So when you find old coins in the fields, this is the kind of people that would have been working there and may have lost those old pennies and the old eightpennies, which back then was quite a lot of money, I'm sure, because it would buy bread. Again, all Shire horse equipment. If any of you guys could share this live stream, that would be absolutely awesome. On Facebook or wherever you do your social media. Again, pictures of old drays in use. 1928 that one, 1927 that one. These are all RSPCA awards, went to do the parades. There's quite a collection there actually, fairly unique. Again, lots of old horse harness. Lots of bits and pieces you may find in the fields, of course, when you're out detecting. These are all trophies and rosettes that my friends won over time. And that's a glass cabinet. So, up on the gallery is the most amazing collection of vintage gear, vintage equipment. The little ones, there's some wooden crates. Hopefully you can see those. Let me just focus. Some wooden crates. There we go. And the little wagons were pushed by hand. There's a huge advertisement there for Stone's Bitter, which is pretty cool. I wish it was full. So this is a really nice old building where the collection is housed. Really like this. Normally you'd have Shire horses in there. And one day I will return, hopefully, and show you how to dress a Shire horse. And if I don't, my friend will. I'm just going to take you outside now, everyone, to show you. Let's have a quick look along here, actually. Yeah, just a few old pictures, again, with horses on. I don't know if it's very clear in the chat for you to see there, but I'm going to take you outside. Oh, quick look in here. There's a nice old crate with the bottles in, and that's the kind of thing they would have delivered in the drays to the pubs years ago. They're small models. They're quite nice. These guys, imagine living in this day and age. These are pictures of the brewery workers at the Stones depot back in the day, with all the Shire horses all dressed up for a parade. And competition was very fierce back in the day. They used to have all the Shire horses out, huge parades, and of course they would win a prize for being the best dressed horse. So I'm going to take you through a few rosettes up there. I'm going to take you through quickly through the building, and on the other side is a car which is totally unique. I believe it was built in the 1930s, but I'll show you that. And it's totally unique. It's actually in the shape of a bottle. Just taking you under the arch, and then you'll see the equipment coming up. Some vintage cars, vintage tractors, and a fire engine. And I will return on another live stream to actually show you another part, because one day I shall actually walk through and show you the most amazing things inside. Do excuse the mess, guys. Here is actually a steam engine. It's not long been delivered, so it's covered over. Perhaps one day I'll come back and make a short on that, a short video. Beautiful old steam engine. Sorry, not a steam engine, a steam roller. Probably 1930s for a guess. That's pretty cool. And this one here is a Ford Model A, and it was built about 1934, and it was designed by Ford, and it has like a manual gearbox. Quite a few accidents in these apparently, because they used to start them up with a wind-up device that went in there, and apparently people used to get run over quite regularly with these. Not the best thing. That's Joshua Tetley and Son Leeds, and again that probably would have been used for delivering crates of beer, for a guess, bottles, maybe small kegs. This is pretty cool. Imagine turning up to work in this. This was built in 1983, and it was used in Poole in Dorset. Basically it represents vehicles that were built around 1927. It's a Morris. Let's have a quick look around there. Advertising Worthingtons. Look at the woodwork in here. Isn't that cool? I'm going to take you over there, guys, and you're going to actually see the most amazing car. Very rare. I think there's only one in the world. Here we are, another wartime tractor. And this one again is in working condition. That over there is a turnip cutter. They used to put the turnips in there, and it would chop up the beets and the turnips, and possibly Swedes as well. And then it would be ground up, and then used to feed the cattle. Here's a super old dray, and that I think is probably the original paintwork. That's probably awaiting restoration, but they'll have to replace bits of wood on that, and then it'll be return to its former glory and be really nice. Really like that. There's the old barrels, the kegs that they would have put in these wagons and then delivered the ale to the pubs. And then there would be on their side with a tap in called a spigot, and then they would pull the tap and then pour you a pint. Sometimes made of wood, sometimes made of brass. Now there's a wagon that's quite early that I think the top may have been replaced, but I'm not sure what that would be used for carrying for. It's made of metal anyway, so, which is pretty cool. Oh, apparently it's a brewer's grain wagon. Because I'm just looking at this lot. A brewer's grain wagon, built in 1910. Oh, and it was used for cattle feed. It could carry 3 tons of grain, and it needed two or more horses to pull the loaded wagon. 6-mile journey, and it was redundant from 1948, and it was found in a field next to the M4. It was left there for 40 years, and now it's in here, part of the collection, which is pretty cool. Now there's some old vintage cars in there, but the shutter's down, so I can't really go in there. Just give you a quick look. Maybe return another day on that. Anyway, hi everyone in chat. I can't actually read the chat log as it's going because I'm showing you guys this, but Simon's in there saying hello. I know he is. Now this is a Bedford lorry. It's pretty cool. 1968 Bedford lorry. Fire engine. How cool is that? A Range, I think it's, what's that called? The Land Rover, isn't it? Yeah, I was going to say a Range Rover, but I think it's a Land Rover. And it's a vintage fire engine. That's pretty cool. There's another one. That's from the fire service as well. It's got the hoses on top. And that one has a blue light, as you can see over there. This is pretty cool. I like it. Yeah, a Land Rover, that's right. Hey, look at this. Imagine going to work in this. A barrel car. That's awesome. The bottle car's next door. I'm just going to show you that in a few minutes. So that's pretty wicked. That's an advertising vehicle that would have been driven around. Probably used for deliveries as well, actually. But they get the free advertising. So this is an Everard's barrel van, and it was bought here in 2011 and donated, so that's pretty cool. And it was originally made for a company called Whittaker's in Halifax. Let's have a look inside, shall we? Yeah, certainly would cause a stir if you drove that along the road, wouldn't it? Everard's beers. Old original ale. Now this one is absolutely amazing. This is a bottle car. I do believe it's unique in the world. I think it's the only one. I do believe so. I'll take you to see the front in a moment. Worthington's India Pale Ale, which was of course exported all over the world to different parts of the empire back in the day. Now, can you believe this actually drives? Still works, still drives. Awesome mudguards. Let's take you around the front. Actually, I'll show you the side again. Let's have a look. In the shape of a beer bottle with a crown cap. Pretty awesome if that was filled with beer, wouldn't it? So basically, I'm just going to read the information here. In fact, I'll show you. Worthington's White Shield bottle car. And apparently the engine number dates from 1950 and the controls are classic vintage Daimler. And the clutch pedal is on the left, accelerator in the centre and the foot brake on the right. Full forward speeds and reverse. The size of those headlamps. So there's a bottle car, completely unique. Here's a little Morris. Kind of one you see in Heartbeat, isn't it? That's pretty cool, actually. Just noticed this as well. This will be Victorian or Edwardian, and it's an old pub bar fitment, which would be behind the bar with all the bottles and the jugs, etc., etc., on the actual bar of an old pub. It's great. It's been preserved. I'm sure they'll do something special with this. Would have been a mirror, probably a mirror in there that's gone. Acid etched stained glass windows. Now this is going to be 100 and something years old for a guess. So guys, what I'm going to do, I will come back here again in the future, and I'll give you a guided tour of that place with all its treasures inside, which will be pretty awesome. So there we are. I hope you enjoyed that little tour. Quite enjoyed showing you. So thank you everyone for joining me on that little adventure. If you know anyone that actually may like this equipment that I've showed you, I'd be very grateful if you'd share it. Any Facebook groups like farming, farming enthusiasts or old vehicles or anything like that would be absolutely awesome. So guys, I'm going to say cheerio. I will say to you, by the way, tomorrow I've got an awesome place where I'm going to go mudlarking. Now it's a Victorian ditch. I went there a long time ago, about 10 years ago. Found a few old bottles there because it's a small bottle tip. Wasn't majorly productive, but the riverbed itself, or it's like a stream with very high banks behind some old Victorian houses, that was full of pottery. There was pottery here, there and everywhere. So, and I do remember two fantastic things sticking out of the mud. which I'm going to retrieve. So if you tune in tomorrow, it'll either be a video or it may be a live stream, because I'm not sure about the reception at the where the ditch is, because it's in an old brewery town. It's down by a brewery, but it's like at the back, if you like, and the banks are very steep, so I don't know if I'll get a reception or not. Anyway guys, if you could leave me and Simon a thumbs up, that would be absolutely awesome. And it's great to see everyone. Thanks for popping in, and I'll see you soon. All the best guys. Thank you. Bye bye. Did I not have the camera the right way? And I don't know how to turn it off. Oh no. Are you still there, guys? I may still be live, actually. Let's have a look who's in. Hopefully I can get this to work. I thought I'd turn you off a minute ago. Hey, how you doing?